Hello, gentle viewers. This is Zap Guardian welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 24 with the Prague Metropolitans. In our previous episode, we fell in the Division Series a year after winning the World Series, and back at it again, trying to become the best version of ourselves that we can. So, a quick note. I was recording the video last night, and then my power went out because we had a pretty gnarly storm. So I'm starting again from scratch, but I do have a little bit more knowledge than I probably ought to have. So a couple things I want to do immediamo, as the saying goes. Wonder if you ever put a player who hits 228 at the top of your lineup. That's so fucking stupid. I mean, I know that he's fast, but that's like the worst possible place to have this guy. Before I make any decisions about actual players, I want to get a scouting director, and then we can start making some choices here. Remember that our manager gets to hire whoever he wants as his other coaches, because that's just how he rolls, I guess. You would like to get an extension. I have no problem with that. Look, Cash got Shulk won reliever of the year again. I definitely didn't plan that. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I did. It is a bit strange that he got it when Halil Bajrami was actually much better. I mean, Gottschalk did have an amazing year too, but I probably would have picked Bajrami personally. But hey, there's certainly nothing wrong with having two quality relievers, right? Especially at a fairly reasonable price. Langlet was our only platinum stick this year. We got our scouting director, Amar Capone got Cy Young, Pitcher of the Year. And our old pal Gavin Miller ended up winning the MVP. Because he's actually healthy for 2 years in a row. That's wild, guys. Wild. I didn't think that was possible. Good for him, though. He was always an incredible talent. He just got hurt all the time. But now we have a scouting director, and it is going to take him some time to figure out who is good at what, but I probably need to take you guys off the IL, right? Oh, the 40-man roster is full. Okay. Now that we have our scouting director, I know he's had a ton of time to make decisions, but let's start deciding who we're going to keep and who's going to go. Now, the first decision I'm going to make is, as I'm sure you all probably are used to, it is long since become a tradition for me to make a bad decision and then immediately avoid the consequences. Hi, Schoenenberg. Although See, before I had the scouting director, he looked a lot worse than he is now. I wonder if it's not a terrible idea. He's also not a very good third baseman. He's really a first baseman. I think I'm going to trade him, and we're going to see what we can get for him. We're going to have to look at everything, which is fine. I can have Timon Capsamales. Or Capsamales. You know what? It's not a terribly sexy pick. But you know what it's not? It's not paying somebody millions of dollars to be mediocre. So, done. He is not an overpaid veteran. Yes, he's got like a tiny salary. Fine, but that's fine. That instantly helps us with our money quite a bit. Let's start talking about who gets to stay, who gets to go. Alright. Vsevolod Plashenko, thank you for your service. You're not good enough to make the roster again. I know I just traded for you, and then immediately salted you away in the minors, but the truth of the matter is the only thing you're good at is drawing walks. That's not a good offensive profile. You go on. I could try trading him. I'll be honest with you, I don't think we're going to get anything. Yeah. Which is fine. Next we go to Slavomir Krista. He's on a very good hitter. His ability to put multiple positions would be better if he were really good at it. He's not tendered. Slotin has value as a defender, and even though he's not an amazing hitter, I do think he is worth 350k. I think that's a reasonable sum to pay him. Boom, done. Sergio Gutierrez is fine. But he's not very good at anything. He's not bad at anything, but he's not very good at it either. Like, at best, we're hoping for somebody who might be interesting. Then again, his salary demand is quite modest. I think a one-year deal for him is possibly reasonable. I have enough money. Whatever, dude. Not talk about Jamal David. So here's my issue with David. Or David, I suppose. His value is driven entirely by his batting average and the ability to hit doubles. He's still a young man, so he'll probably still be useful for another season or two. But all it takes is one bad year in terms of BABIP, and he's going to be a subpar performer. I do think, maybe not right away, but in the near future, we're probably going to want to trade him. Because his top value is always going to be limited. He could also win a batting title. Like, that's a thing that he could do. But it is a fairly minor salary, and I think keeping him around for at least one more year is probably fine. There we go. Amakapane is the future. I can't... Like, this is a non-question. I would happily give him this contract if not for the fact it's just so much damn money. So let's keep something in mind, okay? We effectively have a salary cap of $46 million. And there's not too much deviation there. $9 million is roughly 20% of the cap. Roughly. That's not great. It's very, very short-sighted to spend that much money on one player. Let me check the financial settings. I don't think there's something we can do about it. I could probably mess with these numbers a bit, but I don't really feel like it. Like, $7 million for a superstar is kind of wild, but it's fine. Okay, so Makapane, we definitely want to bring him back. That's not even a question. But I also can't give him this mega contract. It's not prudent, and would probably cripple us for years to come. So instead I'm going to give you a 1-year deal and then see where it takes us. Lushakov, he's just basically blocking a spot for a better player. I think it's time that he departs. Now here's where we're going to start saving some money. Attilo Spore is wanting $2 million to not even be a closer, and while he's fine, I don't think it's very sensible to keep him around. I'd like to try to trade him if I could, but I will not tender him if I must, because it's just not a good use of our resources. Gone. Orphanides, on the other hand, I am more than happy to offer him a modest salary of $300,000. That's very reasonable. Thanks for being a good dude. Vinny Sorzano, again, spending $1 million plus on a reliever who isn't a closer just strikes me as not efficient. He gone too. Now, Bajrami, I would like to try to keep long-term if we can. He's a really good pitcher, although he is fragile. Maybe it would be better not to go for the long-term deal right now and just give him a 1-year deal. There you go. Schmaltz is an interesting guy. He's a fairly good defender with an interesting amount of pop in his bat. I just really don't think there's any sense in keeping him, though, because his contact percentage is so low that even if everything he hit was a home run, he still wouldn't be very useful. So I think it's time to move on from him as well. Adam Keeley is an interesting choice. I'd feel better about him if he were our backup and not our primary, but I still think it's worthy to offer him a contract extension. I'm definitely not giving you a long-term deal, though. I don't trust you enough for that. So we're going to do a 1-year deal, and I'm going to give you $1 million, as per your request. There we go. This is probably more than I should be spending on a catcher, but we'll see. So now I come down to 2 more players we have to make a decision on, which are Yvonne Langlet and Reinhard Kirschbaum. Kirschbaum is not very good. He's a reasonably good defender who basically can't hit, and I really should have traded him at the end of last season. That was a huge mistake. I, for some weird reason, assumed that was the new normal for him. It wasn't. He's a decent reserve, but he's not a starting second baseman anymore. So let's go ahead and offer him up in trade. Perhaps. I can take on a regular. I can take on a little bit of salary. I just don't want to take on a lot. Let's see. Patrick Krupinski. Nope. Uwu Jordan. Nope. Steve Grano. I mean, if we're going to take a youngster just for defense, we'd be hard pressed not to take Vongu, who's an amazing defender at 3 positions. It's not necessarily my favorite upgrade, but it is something we can definitely consider. Yeah, I talked myself into it. We'll take Mr. Vongu here. Right. Now, Langlet was one of our few players that actually performed at a high offensive level. But he also can't really play first base. I don't think we can afford not to keep him. He's durable. His offensive career has been pretty consistent. I think we have to keep him. So keep him we shall for 1 year. There we go. Now the question is going to be, where do we find upgrades? And that's going to have to come through free agency and quality trades, as it does so often. I'm not even going to offer Bertay. I know he's going to want like shit tons of money that I can't afford. And Carlos Crespo, I wouldn't mind bringing him back if I could keep him for a fairly cheap sum. But he's going to want a raise, and I'm not going to be the one to give it to him. So let us now advance forwards a bit and let people make some decisions. Contracts all come in. Excellent. Oh, right, our newbies. Here we go. Good luck, have fun. Gonna skibbity bibbity boop. I completely forgot about him. That's on me. I probably didn't actually want him anymore, but say la vie. Alright, so we have about $6 million for both extensions and right now. It's not a lot of money, but it should be enough to make a couple of important upgrades. And now, this is going to be an interesting year for two players in particular, Jacobson and Langlet. Both of them are going to be gone at the end of the season. Bashrami is going to be a free agent. We might need to consider what to do about him, too. Can I let Langlet go? Well, let's check free agency before we do anything drastic like signing extensions. And here's our big issue, right? Like, look at all these gigantic salaries for players in various positions. A lot of this we just can't afford. So I think the most important thing to do is to make sure we have Langlet for at least a few more years. Let me get a team option, and then I will give you this contract. And in case you're like, why are you spending that much money on an extension? The key here is that I'm almost positive Monomakis is going to opt out. It's going to be really stupid for him when he does it, but I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to decide that he wants to play somewhere else, and he's going to opt out, and then we'll have more money to spend on other people. But I still have about $5 million to spend this year, and we definitely are going to want to accomplish that. So let's figure out where we need to make upgrades, and then go from there. So this is our current deal here. This is a wholly uninspired infield. I don't know why you're not deciding to play Calandrini, who at least has the opportunity to become a decent offensive guy, but it's also not like the worst decision ever. It's just very underwhelming. If we play Capsamalis at first, that's at least a little bit of power. We do still have Monomakis and Langlet. Guzman isn't terrible. Gabriel Gunter is getting better. Um, we need to put Jacobson and Morgan back on the roster. We got loads of pitchers. Let's make sure that people are on the Rule 5 that are on the roster that need to be. I think Perrin and Polson both are mandatory. Maybe we could trade a couple of these folks. Stefan Andre. Hey, here's kind of a guy. What if I traded you for an even prospectier prospect? I don't hate Naraton Blaku. You're a very fine reliever, but you're also a ways from the majors. Jesus Perez might be the new leader. He's actually a really talented offensive player. Ethan Henderson is also a really interesting choice. He's already fairly well accomplished, which means he could probably start right away. And even if he hasn't reached his full potential, I think there's a lot to like about him. I do, of course, need a new catcher at some point. I guess the question is, am I willing to go for Gardner, who would be a very fine player to have, but not get an established player? He's only 20. I think I'd rather get somebody who can help us right away, and I think Ethan Anderson could be that guy. I think he could. However, is Henderson actually all that much better than... Perez would be a good choice. But there's also Blaku. No, I think you go for the athlete when you can, and I think it probably means Perez. Although the real difference between Perez and Henderson is Henderson's already fairly well established, but still has room to grow. He's also got a lot of speed, and he's a pretty decent corner outfielder. I think we do take Henderson. We're gonna go for this. Done. I now have entirely too many outfielders, but that's okay. That's okay. Alright, let's talk catchers. I think a catcher is the next position I would like to fulfill. There's lots to like about Sashenka Lahal, but it is going to cost me a draft pick, and I think that makes me nervous about going for him. Now, Dieter Stahl I like quite a lot. Maybe this is what we go for. A nice, well-rounded offensive performer who's also a pretty good catcher. That seems like a good investment. But I'm not going to give him a big contract. I'm going to give him a one-year deal. But I will give you one for $4.2 million. Yeah, that's not going to happen. You clearly have an inflated opinion of your talents. Christoph Cooper is a decent defender, but not a very good hitter. Asayev is at least potentially decent and is also much cheaper, so we'll go for him. I think a 2-year deal isn't inappropriate. And let's take a look at pitching, because I would like to add a couple of pitchers to the bullpen, if we can. Bet you I can get somebody fairly inexpensive. Sasha Adagamov seems like a pretty good investment. Fairly inexpensive, reasonably good. I think we can offer him a deal. And let's just offer Jose Duran because he's so inexpensive that, like, there's very little sense he won't live up to that contract. Not putting in the rotation, though, my guy. Yeah, I am not putting you in the rotation. You need to stop. Yeah, I'm not doing it. You're not a starter. I'm not going to pay you like one. Christopher Hansen would actually be a very fine addition to this club. Again, not giving you the rotation, though. There we go. Cupid Dick? What the fuck? Why would you accept that? That's so humiliating. How did you get a sore elbow in the off-season? Really, fucker? Oh my god. My dudes. Alright, so we locked up Langlet, which is amazing. That's good stuff. Coaches are getting signed that I have no control over. Neat. We get Adagamov, so let's promote you to the big leagues. Interesting independent league. Eduardo Huerta. I don't think so. Go up to the Rule 5. What kind of goodies might there be for us? Huh. You're not a pitcher, though. Let's do all players, and let's use anybody interesting to add to our team. I'm noticing a trend, and that trend is players who aren't very good. Eh. I mean, it's not like Merlin can't be a good pitcher someday, but I'm not willing to keep him in the majors to find out. Nobody really gets me excited. I think we just go ahead and sim through the entire Rule 5. There we go. Okay. And you both get to make the active roster. Nice. much money did Berthet earn? Probably a lot, right? Really? Oh man, that sucks. If I would have known that's all he wanted, I would have signed him. Man. Oh well. Nah, you suck, dude. Oh right, I probably should have been doing that again. I don't know why I'm so terrible at remembering that. It's also not the most thrilling class, to be honest with you. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But I guess it's better than nothing, maybe? Maybe? There we go. Let's... When is the international free agent signing? Right around the corner. Okay. Am I losing any kind of... Oh, who got traded that I care about? Oh, Garrick Faber. Okay. Good to see he's still doing okay. Right. How much money do I have left? $2 million. I do not want that. Scouting is decent. Let's kick up player development another $1 million. I think that's very sensible. And then whatever money I've got left, we can spend on international free agent, maybe. Like, let's not mince words here. Akumata is the best hitter in this free agent class. If we can come away with him, that's a pretty good... That's a pretty good deal. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send the entire cap on you, because I think you're that valuable. Let's do it. Like, I don't want to fuck around. I want him to be on my team because I think he's the best player in that period. Let's take a look now. Are we losing anything for being half a budget? We are not. Amazing. I love it. I mean, I'd love to have you back, but I can't afford you anymore. Alright, so we're going to have a bunch of rookies getting opportunities in spring training here to see what they can do. We'll call up Polson. How much longer are you out? Oh, you won't actually be in spring training at all. Okay. That's not amazing, but sure. Boughton can go up. Leniev, Watali, Jarvie. That seems good. That's a good enough start. Do your thing here. Interesting. You're platooning Creenan O'Reilly as my DH. Have you taken leave of your senses? He's not that good a hitter. Oh, Vangu's gonna be one of these guys, isn't he? Where the AI is like, oh my god, we have to play him. He's so good defensively. I don't think it's helping our lineup any, but maybe. Alright, let's just go ahead and simulate do string training. I really can't be bothered right now. That's amazing to see, because you're probably going to get a real chance to make the roster. A trade proposal. You will basically gift me Ernst Rosenberg for a package of prospects. That's a big fat... because Rosenberg doesn't really do it for me. I do not care. Okay. So then maybe just take a nap. Okay. Well, we won spring training. That's fun. Okay. Gabriel Gunter getting better at center field is only going to increase his value, which is amazing. Okay. Yeah, I don't really care. I'm nowhere near getting the first overall pick, so... let us now decide what to do with our players to try to get us up to a 25-man roster, down to a 25-man roster. Derek Morgan's still going to be out another 2 months, so that's one easy choice, just to put him right back on the IL, and you just go to the minors. No, I don't want to put him on the IL, because then... Yeah. Oh, no, I guess I do want him on the IL. I guess I do kind of care about him. Pitching, I have 13 pitchers. Let's get rid of one. Probably Linev. So here's your 12 pitchers. Let's let you do your thing here. Beautiful. I don't have any lefties in the pen. I don't know if I care, but that is something to keep an eye on. You did end up putting Christopher Hansen in the bullpen in the rotation, which I guess is fine, but not really what I expected, but okay. What are you doing, game? Alright, let's get rid of some position players. It's very, very clear to me that no matter what I do, you're not going to play Calandrini every day, which is what he needs to be the best version of himself. So I think he goes back to the minors, to AAA, to work on his game. Oh, you're literally just going to platoon the 2 first basemen, aren't you? I'm not against that. I do think that might be something to consider. I have way too many outfielders, obviously. Jacobson will be back in 3 days, so I'm not going to bother putting him on the IL. So I'm going to find players that don't seem to have much of a future. You go to the minors. Gutierrez to the minors. Still way too many outfielders. I really like Henderson more than I do David, who's already he's already is what he's going to be, right? Maybe we try trading him again. Gustav Hjorth is a possibility for sure. If you could hit it all, I would be very interested in you, but I still think I am interested in you. I just won't play you in the majors. I think it's just useful to have a solid catcher available. That'd be pretty solid. Yeah, we'll grab this dude. Maybe I can get Hjorth too. That'd be kind of cool if I could get both players. Like, I don't want to take any chances, and I want this deal made now, so I will throw in, say, Ergot Schmidt. There we go. I'm going to put you on the 40-man, but I am going to ask you to go to AAA for now. And see if you can maybe sort some shit out. So got to get rid of 3 more players. Gabriel Gunther is probably best served playing in AAA unless Jacobson is like going to be out for a while. Because that way he can play every single day and be the best version of himself. And I don't have to worry so much about the rest of it. Let's go into the minor leagues real quick and use my fancy calling the minors filter. I think I've got way too many average players, and this should hopefully help with playing time. There we go. Oh wait, you know what? I think I'm only looking at 1 level, aren't I? In my filter here. Yeah, let's say... I'm going to upgrade this filter because this way I can get rid of other players that aren't very good and could be taking too much playing time. Let me save this filter. How many players would this be getting rid of? 56 players. Oh my god. For right now, let's just change this to... let's do that. Now how many players are we talking about? 34, that's still probably too many, but they're also not very good, so let's do it. There we go, it's a much trimmer minor league system. That should hopefully make sure that the players who need it get the most playing time. 2 more players going to the minors. I'm probably going to go to 1 more outfielder, I think. And I think that player is going to be Jarvi again. Because Guzman can play center field and Jarvi can't. That's the main difference right now. Now middle infielder goes. I'm going to trade Pagani, and we're going to keep Watali. I think that's an amazing choice. I will happily just non-tender him rather than trade, than just release him for nothing. And then Watali gets to make the roster. There we go. I'm going to force you to play O'Reilly at the... I guess you could play at second, actually. Maybe that is actually the better solution. Play him at second. He's already getting older. He's not quite the defender he used to be. Let's let him play at second base. I'm suggesting a position for him. Okay. That seems decent, actually. I think this could be a really interesting lineup. For sure. Okay. My running system probably looks pretty trash at this point. It's slightly above average. That's fine. Let's play through a month. I mean, you're better than Boughton, so I guess it's worthwhile demoting him to activate you. There we go. Okay, Jacob Jacobson would like to return. There's a lot to like about him, except for two things. One, his penchant for getting injured all the fucking time. And two, the fact he's going to want a whole shit ton of money. And I can't really do either of those two things. So I think, Mr. Jacobson, thank you very much for your talent and your abilities, but I think we shall allow you to depart at the end of the season. If we're like super out of it, I might even trade him, perhaps. How long are you out? Just a couple days. Has O'Reilly already figured out second base? Yeah, he has. A Makapana is going to cost us so much money and I can't really do anything about it. How is Mapal doing? Gabriel Gunter. He's getting somewhat better. He's just not taking a step forward. He's not. He's making steady improvements, though, and that's a very good thing to have. We're just kind of mediocre this year, mostly because of Christopher Hansen. What is your deal? Or you're just getting creamed. Like everybody is hitting you super hard. We're going to get Derek Morgan back. I think that's going to be one thing that'll help, because Hansen instantly gets taken out of the rotation, in my opinion, if that happens. What's Makapane's deal? He's not striking people out. That's his big issue. Hopefully he figures that out soon. Yeah, Bajrami is going to get so much money, and I can't do anything to stop him from leaving, unfortunately. Oh well. The most important change we could make is getting Hanson out of the rotation and adding Morgan. Because Morgan is, I think, one of our better pitchers. So let's advance up to the draft. That should get Morgan back and healthy. Not quite apparently. I kind of figured this might happen. We're getting a lot of players that are quite far, that are either closer to the major leagues, or what's Wendell Schmidt's deal? Schmidt is a really accomplished hitter. But I am somewhat concerned about his long-term viability. But if the guy can hit 300 regularly and bang in 15 to 20 home runs, that's a really solid cornerstone. I like him a lot, actually. Fedotiev is also a fun candidate, though. I actually like both of these guys. You're a slightly better athlete, which means I could play you anywhere in the outfield. But you also don't have the power. It's one of you two, for sure. Oh, you're also 2 years younger. Then again, a guy who can, like, regularly hit batting titles at his full potential level is so hard to come by. I think we have to go for Schmidt. And maybe hope that we get lucky enough Fedotiev is still around in the second round. And he is. Amazing. That right there, friends, is an incredibly successful draft. I don't care who you are. That's two players who could help us right now if we needed them to. And that's awesome. I like Huey Bird a lot. Give him to me. I demand him. Mr. Stankovic here. I love it. Love the name, love the player. Let's get some nice depth in our minors and some quality players if we need them. I'm not even going to look any farther than... Ooh. No. Radosavljevic is better. Or sorry, it's just Radosavljevic. Yeah. Oh, Fapula's still here. Amazing. Done. Rummersfall's actually a pretty talented reliever. I like everything that he has to offer us, so I think we'll go for him. And then, my guys, I'm just going to auto-complete the rest of the draft. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Yeah, so Schmidt and Fedotiev could theoretically see playing time this year. I'm not going to guarantee it, but I do think it's fairly likely. It's all going to depend on how our team goes. Here we go. Is there anybody else that I really desperately want to sign? Adrian Schmidt is actually pretty talented. Let's lock him down. Let's offer him his contract. Balasovic here is pretty decent. Gustav Tot is actually really interesting to me. Oh, okay. Then I guess that's all we can get. That's fine. Okay, Derek Morgan comes back. So long, Christopher Hansen. No, actually, so long, Barbier. Um, then hopefully we'll do the sensible thing, just take Hansen out of the rotation. I didn't want him there to begin with. No, you pulled somebody else out of the rotation. You pulled Murchison out, I think. Yeah. I don't know what your obsession with keeping him in the rotation is when he hasn't pitched all that well, but maybe you're hoping for better things. I don't know. I suppose we'll find out, though. Let's sim right the way up to June. Okay. That may have been your last at bat for the Prague Metropolitans. Gunter, you go right to the bigs. Get in there, champ. We just lost Vangu. Calandrini, you're up. Okay, do I want to keep Mr. Poopenmeyer here? I sure do. He is critical to our success as a team. You know, we could probably do better than Anderson. I think I'm going to let him walk and try to get a better dude there. Vukovic is a reasonably good pitching coach. I think I'd like to keep him, please. Mr. I Am Groot is not that great. Neither is Roche. Maybe this is where we make a couple of coaching adjustments here. I'm not convinced I still want you, though, is the thing. We're up to third now. Nice. Oh, God. Okay. Nothing too wild happening here. Fedotiev is already improving significantly. His path to the majors is getting short indeed. How are we doing here? Reasonably well, I would say. The only offensive zero on the board is Van Sloten. Upgrading a third base would actually be really beneficial if we could find someone. Or is there somebody already in the system who could handle that particular role? Wendell Schmidt can't play third, can he? No, he cannot. Yeah, we need a better third baseman. Let's address that right now. Whom might be a fine choice? I wonder. Is there a good third baseman on the roster? Watali, maybe. He's kind of useless too, though. He's a decent defender, but he's not a great hitter. I mean, look, if Varney were healthy, or Vangu were healthy, I would let Calandrini play third. But I think we just need to get rid of Van Sloten for now. I wonder, if anything, what kind of offer I could get. Yet another first baseman of dubious quality. You're just a defensive third baseman. I don't think that's an appropriate use of resources. I guess I can take this guy just because he looks like he's still a pretty decent player. He's not that bad at second. Like, if we played him at second, his value's immeasurably higher. But I do think it's most appropriate to just add him to the 40-man and send him to the minors to work on his craft. For now. Who might have a third baseman of reasonable quality? Like, you either want to... I want a thumper if I can get one. Somebody's actually a very talented hitter, but maybe that's not possible. I'd love to bring Faber back, but not as a third baseman. It'd be funny if I did, though. He's not Badalone. Get it? Mike Hernandez. I think this is our guy. If we can acquire him without too much of a hassle, I think he's the perfect fit for our third base hole. I think giving you Polson is very reasonable. I don't really need another generic first baseman. But I do need a third baseman. So I think Mr. Hernandez here is a fine choice. And let's scoot you over to third. As far as who gets promoted to play first, now we call up Kutanieme and see where this gets us. Alright, redo your thing. Oh, you're making him the DH. I am completely fine with that. I think he's a very talented player, and I think he would be an excellent addition to our club. Okay, we've done some decisions there. Let's advance time, shall we? "33-game save streak by Gottschalk." I don't know how it's possible when I don't think he's a closer, but okay. Alright, All-Star Game announcers have been announced. Who made it from Prague? Evan Gallagher, Halil Bajrami, Adam Keeley. That's interesting. It must be a down year for catchers. Yvonne Langlet, Xenophon Manomakis. And that's it. That makes sense. We've had quite a bit of turnover, like, in the mid-season, so I'm not that annoyed about that. What about the prospect game roster? Miko, Pavine, Dvorak, Bonchikov, and Julia. Lovely. Is there anything even in particular that I wanted at the trading deadline? I mean, I would have loved to have been able to trade Jacobson, but I can't. Because I wasn't going to keep him anyway. And now I can't afford him. Eh. Tempting, but no. I'll tell you what, I don't care about either of these guys. Nah, yeah, I don't really care about either one of them. What I don't want is I don't want Leotiuk, because he doesn't do it for me. So, yeah. Sorry. Don't be fucking absurd. I'm not giving away Julia, who could be on the Major League roster in a week or two. That's just silly. So the player I would most love to trade is the guy that I can't trade because he's hurt, which is Jacobson. I would be over the moon if I could trade him. Oh, maybe I can trade him now. I can trade him now. Okay then. Let us offer up Mr. Jacobson. Oh, god damn it, game. Really? Ugh. If we're gonna do anything in the playoffs this year, I need Bajrami, so I'm not gonna trade him yet. Hanson is getting better. I don't know if there's much of a market for him, but we can try it. What do we got here? Oh, I don't want regulars. I just want prospects. Thank you. Interesting. That's for a prospect package. This seems like a really good package, though. I mean, it is 2 first basemen, so I guess that's a fair point. That's a lot of players, though. I'm gonna go for the one with all the names. I think that's the best path to a successful trade here. And I'm gonna add you to the 40-man, send you to the minors. I'm gonna add you to the 40-man, send you to the minors. Apparently my goal is to become the only stopping place for all first basemen in the league. That's apparently a thing that I am doing. I think Marlan probably gets called up, so let's make some space for him on the 40-man. Fuck off. And then you go there. And then I need to make one more space on the 40-man for one of my other new players here. Yeah, Patika's got nothing to recommend him. And then I can put you on the 38, on the 40-man and send you to the minors. There we go. I just realized I didn't do any of the trade deadline stuff. I think I'm happy with what we've got anyway, so that's fine. 'Tis fine. Gavin Miller sure feels like the one who got away, but then I look at his ginormous contract and I just laugh my ass off. Like, why would you pay that much money to a guy who's made out of paper mache? I'm sorry, that's not fair. Paper mache is far more durable than Gavin Miller ever was. It takes a while, but I do learn. Sometimes. Yeah, I have no desire to activate him again. I will take Vangu back. How is Calandrini playing, by the way? Pretty poorly. Like, Vangu can't hit either, but at least he's a really, really good shortstop. You guys both cleared waivers. That's awesome for you, I guess. Langlet, you dumb fucker. You dumb son of a bitch. Guess who doesn't really care, actually? I don't. Unless Gunter is fucking up. He hasn't been great. You know, maybe a bit more seasoning would do him well. Let's send him back to the minors and call up Jacobson. Alright. Man. This Bumgarner guy sucks. Let's get rid of him. There we go. I love not having to worry about minor league options. I do think it makes the game a little bit easier, but I don't mind actually. Oh my god, Vangu. What the fuck, dude? Oh, Calandrini gets to come right back. No, he doesn't. Where'd he go? Is he hurt? He is hurt. Yikes. I guess Pagani gets to return. Oh my god, really? I don't want to trade any of these guys. I don't want to take anyone off the roster, though, because I don't want to lose people for nothing. I can lose Abraham Schultz. No, you can't play shortstop. That's a pretty big failing for a guy that's supposed to be his thing. We'll call up Pagani and let the game figure it out. I'm going to remove the recommendation on Crean O'Reilly, just so you can play him where he needs to play. Which was probably shortstop at this point. Very nice. Start seeing some players making some moves. That's pretty exciting. Mr. Stankovic is not playing at the highest of levels, but he's actually playing quite well. He might have an accelerated path to the minors as well. Okay. Sorry, my guy, I don't really want you back. I know that makes me seem like a bit of a jerk, but here we are. Oh, joy. Let's call up Jorlandino, because I think, yeah, that'll give us a nice little platoon deal happening. No, so my type of baseball, I would be furious if I wanted to pay my hard-earned money at a baseball game and at a game ended a 0-0 tie. I'd be like, what the fuck, guys? Like, I know upset doesn't happen in real life because ties aren't a thing except in spring training, but like, I mean, I guess if you're a soccer fan or a football fan, if you prefer that term, maybe ties are okay, but I would just find it incredibly frustrating. I'm glad you enjoyed playing for me. The answer's a big fat no. I'd much rather keep you, but I also can't afford you either, so that's a bit of an issue. We were better than we were last year, which is quite nice. We've definitely improved in run scoring. Our pitching isn't quite as good, but still pretty solid. Like, I don't have too much to complain about our pitching staff. Two people gotta go. Jacobson, you're going to the minors. Just because you're hurt. And then... probably Pagani. There we go. Down to 25. Done. I don't know what's so exciting about him, but I mean, I guess anything can happen, right? Alright. Let's murder all of the messages. There we go. Clean slate for the playoffs. Oh dear. Getting to my ace is not a great start to a series, that's for sure. A nice 1-0 victory though. Derek Morgan getting it done. Nicely done, my friend. Nicely done. Criminal Minds. That's right. That's where the name Derek Morgan kept like sticking in my brain. Oh dear. Oh, it's all going to come down to our ace. Can he do ace things? He cannot. He got his ass blasted. Both games he came in. That's kind of gross, actually. I mean, that's not that terrible, but that's a lot of hits to be giving up. The real problem is we didn't score. Which I think we're all realizing is a bit of a theme with my teams, I guess, is that once the postseason starts, they'll decide that offense is optional. Yeah, we didn't score more than 3 runs a single game in the series. And our offense is better than that. It's not great by any stretch of the imagination, but our offense is definitely better than that. So a bit of a disappointing first round exit, but it is what it is. Let's do some scooting. Oh, the showcase isn't until October 17th. That's right. Sure thing. All right, let's get to it. Oh, hello there. Oh, you're going to be very challenging to acquire, but you're also an amazing player, so... This is a really good international class, especially Mr. Park here. And then we're going to go to scouting and run that practice, please. What's not to like about him? Like, he's a generational talent offensively. I would give him anything and everything, up to and including my firstborn child. Well, I mean, joke's on you, I don't have any kids, I'm not going to have any, but, you know. Good for Budapest. Especially good for Gavin Miller, who was their star. Well done. As predicted, Monomachus wants his free agency. I get a 1-year deal. Alright, so him opting out doesn't save us that much money yet, but it will very soon. Let's break down the season and figure out what went well and what didn't go well. Monomachus and Langlet did their jobs. Both were sensational performers all year long. Healthy, club and bombs, everything you want from offensive players and more. Langlet took a giant step forward in power, and I think it's going to be crucial as he replaces Monomachus, essentially. Mike Hernandez turned out to be a very shrewd pickup. Although a lot of his production came with Belgium, we still got 34 homers out of him, and that's not nothing. And then it just kind of drops off there. Whereas last season, we had a team of lots of competent players. Here we had a hard time getting at-bats for players, and the ones who did get a lot of at-bats didn't perform at their very best. Adam Keeley did it again, though. Like, I don't know how he keeps hitting 300, but as long as he does, he's still a pretty reasonable player. Crean and O'Reilly was probably a mistake to give him this much money, but his contract's almost up, and he did play 2 positions this year, so he's still very valuable to me. And will continue to have a role on the team. Gabriel Gunter, as our new center fielder, really needs to figure his shit out. I think he can very easily, but we need him to be better if he's going to get a big role on the club. Because we got a whole bunch of youngsters that are all going to be eager for a spot. But yeah, this just turned out we didn't have the secondary scoring that we really needed to be a truly great team. Capsamales is fine, I guess. He had a pretty good season, all things considered. But he's also getting old, and I don't think he'll have this level of production again, so you probably want to consider trading him. What about the pitching? How did the pitching do this season? I wonder. We got some pretty great pitching from a few folks and some really bad pitching from a couple others. Gottschalk was awful. He just walked everybody and gave up homers like they were a fun treat. In retrospect, I should have traded him in 2028 because he'll never be this good again, I don't think. We got some pretty great performances from several starting pitchers. Our rotation is fairly stable, which is great, right? It's really great. Now we just need the rest of the roster to play up to their level. Quick shout out, though, to Orfanides, who turned in an excellent season. And may be in line to be the closer next year, because I'm not going to be able to keep Bajrami. Who had a fantastic season. That's 2 seasons in a row. Someone's going to pay him a shit ton of money, but it ain't going to be me. No, I can't afford that. Not for a closer. Maybe there's another way. But yeah, let's get some coaches hired, and then I will end the episode. I need a new team trainer. That's critical. I'm just looking for lots of fancy color. The only thing you're not good at is rehabbing back injuries. That's pretty good. Yeah, let's get Mikey Velasquez here. Offer him a deal. Now, our next decision is whom becomes a new hitting coach in AAA. It's probably Trev Nielsen. I don't really see a point in overthinking it. So we're going to do that. So Trev Nielsen, you get promoted to AAA hitting coach. I'd really rather Reese Dyson be a manager. I wonder if he would consider that a promotion. As like a pure hitting coach, Dyson isn't that great. Torrijani is fine. We can promote him. Coach ratings. I guess Izzy Rojas is okay. What have you done, game? Is there somebody already? Like, would Srebov be a decent? He wouldn't be. Not truly. Yeah, give me this guy. Give me Gleb here. Make him the manager. And then I will take Ardelianu to be that guy. Okay. That is going to conclude today's episode, though, my friends. I hope you have enjoyed the episode. Please remember to like the video or subscribe if you are so inclined. But until next time, this has been Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.